I don't know what to say for this video. Hello my sweet berries, welcome back. Today we are watching episodes 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel. Hazbin, did I really say Hazbin? Okay, never mind. Fair warning there, I have noticed there was like trigger warnings regarding episode 4, so if you aren't comfortable with like sexual assault and harassment and things like that, violence, I am aware that most of you watching probably have seen the show and you're probably already aware, but take this as a trigger warning that after this first episode, episode 4 is going to be a bit less light-hearted, I'd assume. So yeah, I'd be very interested myself as a victim of sexual assault to see how they handle such a heavy topic in a very light-hearted show, like, cause they like it. I don't think they'll make rape jokes, like, it's very unlikely, but I'm just very interested to see how it'll go. Yeah, if you guys want a story time about my SA experience, then I might do one day. But all you need to know is it thankfully didn't go far enough for it to be called rape, and that I was quite lucky. The fact that I have to call myself lucky that I wasn't, you know, touched more than I was is flipping. It shows the amount of work that still needs to be done to protect people from this type of violence, whether male, female, young or adult, doesn't matter. You still risk ending up in these situations. And no, before I see someone in the comments about clothing, I wasn't asking for it. It was a flipping children's park. Take that with a grain of salt, because, well, actually, no, don't. Like, there were 30 adults around me at the time. 30 adults, park full of children, 2 boys my same age with me, still got assaulted. Say what you will. I just wanted to share that before we start, and yeah, I've gone quiet, sorry. I just don't like remembering that. Sometimes I struggle to look at the clothes I wore, I was wearing without feeling. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's get into episode 3. Hopefully this is a bit kind of light-hearted before the chaotic one that I'm scared of, so.
Well, I haven't seen him try to pull any of that.
Wait a second, like, has Charlie always been this tall? Like, I never really noticed it until now. Is Vaggie just short, or is Charlie like 6 feet? I can't tell if, because everyone looks like, I know obviously they're not human, so like human physics and heights and things don't apply, but like, either I need to see Vaggie compared to one of the eggs to kind of judge how tiny she is. Because I feel like, I always thought Charlie was like a normal height, because compared to Alistair she looked quite a normal height, but maybe it might just be that she and Alistair are giants. Well.
Thank you for your business. Enjoy your Carmine purchase.
Carmine As in Carmilla Carmine, you are buying parts from an overlord?
How many antagonists are we gonna have in this? Like, also, I can't really, like, I don't know how to explain it. I can't really take the term overlord seriously. I mean, Alistair's an overlord. Like, I think they're gonna do all this, like, hype for the overlords just for them to turn out to be just as much as of a mess as everyone else. Like, yeah, I just also that girl that was saying like thank you for your purchase. She was talking a bit like yeah, yeah, like she sounded like she was talking in cursive. I don't know if that's just me or if that was actually like what she did. My model's glitching. Hello? Okay.
No more building weapons. No more plotting against other guests, and you need to get rid of these things.
Things, they are called egg boys. These tiny little egg boys are so adorable. Also, why do you need to get rid of them? Like, don't you want more sinners? Why can't they be redeemed? Like, I don't...
What did I just say? What did I just say?
What? Not my little egg boys?
Oh my god, I can't believe I was right about the egg boys. Wait, like, I love the fact that they sometimes just call things the most intuitive thing. Like, the first thing you can think of naming something, they name it as that. I love that theme. Because it's like, so simple, yet, like, enthralling. Like, it just brings you in. It's like, ooh, let me guess what that character's going to be called. Or let me guess that one. And it's kind of like, makes you want to play a bit of a, like, guessing game with the characters. And it keeps you entertained, even if there's no action going on.
You want to stay here and redeem yourself?
Yes?
Then, no more eggs.
All right, Eggies. You've got to go.
You look so sad.
Cross exercises! Oh, shit.
Maggie, we rehearsed this.
Just exercises. Don't you dare mess this up. Do you understand? You are worthless without me. Why was that so toxic? I don't know, like, is it just me that felt a bit of toxicity from Charlie there? I don't know if it's kind of like the pressure of being perfect. Like, I understand the I need to be perfect type of feeling, but as, like, someone who's dealt with that pressure, I would never, like, push it onto someone else. So I don't see what reason Charlie would have to speak like that to Vaggie. Like, it's a mistake. Like, how do you think she ended up in hell? By making mistakes. Like, you can't expect everyone to be perfect.
Charlie?
Actually, I thought maybe you could take the lead on this one. I trust everyone, so maybe you'd know better about how to build it properly.
Oh, yes. I have this brilliant idea. We are going to start a hotel where you do everything. You make all the progress. You invite all the guests. You protect me and serve me as a slave. And then I'll take all the credit by going on TV and presenting it as my big project. Sound good? Sounds even? That's what you sound like right now, Charlie. I love you, girl, but you're not a great partner. Do they have marriage counselors in hell? They're not even married yet, and it's already looking like they need a therapist.
Sometimes I kill mother bugs in front of their children as a warning to others. Yay, pain!
11-year-old me would have gone, like, well, actually not even 11-year-old me, like, me in my emo phase would have just gone ballistic for that joke. Like, I would have made it my whole personality. It's so sad. I love the idea of someone using, like, the trustful exercise as a possible suicide attempt. Like that's such a good bit, and it's creative and funny that the one time he said "don't catch me," they all caught him. Like they did the opposite of what they wanted him to do, and yet it kind of worked out anyway. Like, because if they'd let him fall, it would have been okay for him, but then, like, it just feels like when Charlie said and Vaggie said to catch every person that jumps, they kind of didn't. But the moment someone says "don't catch me," they did it. I find that little detail really good.
I don't know if this is really working the way we hoped. Maybe we should...
The way Nifty's jumping in the back. Like, Nifty jumping in the back is so funny. Oh, wait. So, Charlie, is it we now? Oh, now that it's not working, it's everyone's responsibility. Okay, girl. Okay. Whatever you say.
Like your suit? What are the antlers for? Can I touch your staff thing? Are those your ears or is it your hair? I can't tell!
I love the jokes they make about the incomprehensible character designs. Like, almost as if the animators don't even know themselves what they're drawing. Like, it does also bring up questions in the fandom, like, what are those details? Why are they bringing them up? Are they important? Are they reflective of how, like, they died, of their sin? It's really interesting to me. And also I love the, like, old YouTuber humor, like 2010 YouTube humor. Those were the golden years. But I just think, like, those years of YouTuber humor, I love the fact that they're still keeping it in the show at its roots.
Oh, Alistair, how fare thee this day?
Who's that, boss?
Oof, he sounds like he's straight out of, like, a Shakespearean era type artwork. I mean, like, what am I even saying? I'm so sorry. Like, and also it resolves the problem to me about, like, people talking the same way.
I'd love to know the theories.
'Twould be grander folly by far to assume the workings of your mind, Alistair.
Like, they solved my problem about, like, both angels and demons always interacting the same way. Also, he gives off massive villain vibes. So, like, I shouldn't be surprised considering, like, I should be more surprised about the number of protagonists rather than antagonists considering it's hell. But I have a feeling since he's a villain that they're gonna do oh, he's so scary, but he's so sweet at heart. Like one of those, like, nifty, looks adorable but is a little gremlin underneath. Like, I have a feeling that's what they're going for. Like, the opposite type personality compared to what they're showing on the outside.
Oh, look! Frank is up there! We have names?
Yeah, that joke's amazing. Like, it's kind of like one of those, like, if you don't pay attention, you miss the joke type of jokes, but it's also incredibly obvious. Like, the fact that, I can't remember, I think it was in the pilot that they were, like, all numbered on the backs when they got smashed, that you could kind of read that they had numbers on the back. So it's reflecting, like, they're taking in the little details of the fact that they weren't actually named, they weren't actually considered, like, people, they were just numbers. Like, they were just expendable numbers, and now they're like, wait, we can have names? Like, we're... Like, I may just be reading too deep into this, but it makes you think that, like, just such a light-hearted joke can also go very deep, kind of like, wait, I'm worth more than what people said I was worth? Like, it's kind of very interesting, that perspective on it.
Welcome, Hell's sovereign overlords.
Why does she sound so tired? Like, welcome. Let's get this over with. I don't want anyone here anymore. Also, why is everyone sitting at this table some kind of fetish for everyone? Like, just look at all of them.
I'm sure you've all been wondering.
Not really, but welcome back in any case. This year's extermination was brutal.
Why am I in love with this woman? Like, she's so kind of, I don't know, she's chill, but she's like, I don't know, there's something about her. She also kind of reminds me of Vaggie for some reason. Is she, like, going to be related to Vaggie? I just don't, like, the whole sweet but strict type side. Like, it just, she for some reason just reminds me of Vaggie, and I can't put my finger on why.
Are more even than years past. We have assessed that about 16% of the population.
Oh, wait, like that girl, the one that I thought was speaking in cursive. Does that mean she's the lady with the ballerinas, like high-heeled ballerinas, whatever you want to call them, like, the ballet shoes? Is she the overlord that, like, was selling the parts? Because if so, that's a good detail.
Will your colleagues be joining?
No, they have better shit to do than to listen to an old windbag who thinks she's tough shit. I'm here to represent.
I love the fact that whenever they're introducing a new character, they have to introduce their rival and someone that, like, acts the complete opposite. Because, what was her name? Carmilla? I think, maybe? Like, she seems kind of more of a classical girly type, kind of strict. And then this one, the one with the huge, like, pink pigtails, like, she looks like a funky goth, but also, like, social media star type, modern, chilled, rude, not very ladylike. Like, they very much contrast each other.
Too senile to make a real power grab?
You better show some respect! Check your behavior!
I think I may need to do a bit of stalking. But, like, I can't even search her up because as soon as, you search anything on Hazbin Hotel, you just find, like, OCs. Like, you don't see anything except for OCs. Like, just... Like, I guess those years, was it like 4 years, 5 years? I guess in those 5 years people had to do something, like half a decade of waiting. But still, the fact that there are more OCs than there are, you know, characters apparently. Yeah, I can't stalk this woman with a beautiful voice. Pity.
Not the one who needs a new attitude. Maybe you missed it, but I'm that hashtag bitch.
Oh my gosh, not the hashtag bitch in 2024 ag, okay, but to be fair, like, I remember when it used to be kind of cool to say hashtag, and then it became kind of, like a pick-me thing, like, people would be like, hashtag the best, hashtag, like, everyone would kind of be like, oh yeah, here's another one of these influencers, yeah, like, and now it's just, like, gone back to, they've just started calling them tags to not, like, be correlated to the hashtag this, hashtag that. It's kind of, like, become more of a like, nobody says the hash and hashtag anymore. It's just tag now. Like, even when I upload a video, it's not hashtag, it's just tag. They just tag this, tag that. The hashtag era is dead. I don't even know what I'm to cope and keep the lightheartedness up before we enter episode 4.
enthusiasm. But,
What makes you think anyone would be into this?
I mean, to be fair, you're in hell, darling. Most people who are here would probably be into pain and suffering. Take that with a grain of salt. Like, please don't actually believe that, because we are on Earth. Nobody take my advice on that, because not everybody likes it. I hate pain for one. But, yeah, you don't have much of an argument there, Vaggie.
I can't fucking believe I let you drag us here, Angel. This is disgusting.
I can't believe that someone's like kink shaming in a show that's basically a kink fest. Like, everyone's like fetish this, fetish that. At this point, like, you could just call it Fetish Hotel. Like, there's a fetish for everyone. Not to mention like that 90s rock style furry. That was just like the icing on the cake. Like, having the overlords just be those crazy designed things. Like, it just makes no sense.
Charge today, and it all went sideways. I'm supposed to make your dreams a reality. I'm supposed to protect you.
You didn't take charge, Vaggie. You were kind of forced into toxic peer pressure by your girlfriend. So, not your fault. Also, you know, you've made more progress and kind of actually listened to the guests more than Charlie has to you in the entire series. So, Vaggie supremacy.
Maggie, don't say that. You do so much.
I'm sorry. I'd like to be alone for a minute.
Oof. Damn, Charlie, you got her gaslit good. Like, it's almost impressive how dependent she is on Charlie's praise. Oof. As someone who was stuck in that same situation by someone I was in love with, that hits hard. I know Charlie isn't manipulative, okay? This is a whole joke and a bit on my part, but it's like, if I didn't know Charlie, these would be clear signs of manipulation. As someone who went through it for 10 years, I have experience, especially when someone takes advantage of your feelings towards them. And no, this wasn't about the whole essay thing. This is about one of the people who I was assaulted with. So, shout out to the guy I had a crush on for 10 years, and then he told me he knew the entire time and didn't even bother dumping me properly, and then called me a manipulative bitch when I told him how to be a better friend. Sorry about that. Tangent time over.
Not discussing this.
What weighs on your soul, old friend?
Oh, whoa! I didn't expect to hear him sing. That came in a bit like a beautifully articulated jump scare. Like, it's kind of. I also love the fact that they let him continue with his way of speaking. Like, they didn't just suddenly change him to fit the lyrics. Like, his type of tone remained the same.
And who's to say who'd survive the fray?
Oh, I love her voice. Though I was a bit skeptical in that lead up, because it sounded a bit, I don't know what they did with the editing there, but they kind of made it sound like she was a bit off pitch. Like, it made it sound like she was a bit distorted. You know that distortion filter? It made it sound like she went a bit, ooh, oh. What was that sound? What was that sound? Please forget I said anything. Oh, I'm crying. Ooh, I needed a good cry today. Oh, I'm crying from the things I said before, and now when I'm laughing, oh, this is bad. This is really, really bad.
Make the mistakes, I'll keep you safe.
Whoa. Like, get this woman to sing every single song. Like, I love her voice. Also, her range. Like, she can go really high, but she can also, like, remain, like, really low and subtle and kind of, like, she knows how to lead into a song in a way. Like, I don't know how to explain it. She can reach as if she was in a rock band or an opera singer, but she could also probably, if she trained enough, do like a metal screech. Like, that's just the type of voice she has, and it's amazing. Also, like, Baggy coming in on the song, 10 out of 10. Like, I love Vaggie. Like, for some reason, it feels like one of those, like, duets between, where you see, like, the parallels between the hero and the villain type thing, and they still remind me of each other. This just proves it further. Like, their voices are some of the voices I was least sure about in the beginning, because I was kind of, I don't know, the way it was going along, it just seemed like they were slightly off, but I think that was, like, intentional. I don't know, but they, like, really, it's kind of like a mix between a, like, Disney princess song and a rock song, which I absolutely love. It's just, I can't play much of it because I'm so terrified of copyright, but if I could, oof, we'd be, like, doing an analysis right now. So yeah, I loved that. 10 out of 10. Almost as good as Hell is Forever. I think it beats Happy Day in Hell for me, but I also think the what's it called? I think it was Respectless. I don't know the names of all the songs, like Respectless, the one before this one. I think I preferred it a little bit more, but simply because it felt like a really well done battle between the two. So yeah.
Sorry I got so crazy today.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I put pressure on you. We work as a team.
We work as a team, Vaggie. A team where I'm the boss. I tell you everything you need to do. I gaslight you into thinking you're not worth anything without being dependent from me, and then you do all the work. Isn't that fun? Whew. Here comes the trigger warning, okay? Here's your last trigger warnings before the episode starts. I'm also kind of preparing myself because I am scared, but yeah, I don't know why. I guess it kind of feels a bit like it hits close to home. I guess I haven't consumed really any media where assault is a big thing really recently, so yeah. By the way, in case any of you were wondering when it happened, I was assaulted at 15, so yeah, by 3 grown men, one of them in particular. The other 2 seemed more like they were joking. Their friend wasn't, though. Even they were disturbed by that 30-year-old man who pretended to be 17. No, I didn't go online. No, it was nothing online. It was in person. No adults helped even when I screamed for help. A little child was on the loose and got close to us, so I had to protect him so we couldn't leave the flipping park. My mum tried to call, but I couldn't answer her because I had to pretend that my phone died so they wouldn't steal it. So, yeah, it was a disaster, and those were the scariest 6 hours of my life. Well, except for the time my ex's mum tried to kill herself in front of me. That's another story. Oh god. I didn't mean to... Yeah. That and his dad trying to pull a gun on my parents. Well, technically it wasn't like pull a gun. He like followed them to my house and then the police got involved. But I was like 8 at the time, so... Yeah, I had a boyfriend at that age. Don't ask me how. I didn't even know what a boyfriend was, and he was like the same age as me, maybe a bit younger. Like, we were... I don't know why I've gone off at this tangent, but I should do like a whole story time of the story of my life. Maybe I could write a book and it would be like a psychological horror. At this point, I think it might be. Okay, is this the assault pit? Because this doesn't feel like, obviously it is trigger warning worthy, but it doesn't feel like people would put such emphasis on it.
Hilarious, you think I tell you anything.
Fine! I guess I'll just have to fuck the information out of you.
What the hell happened to my silly little cartoon, guys? Oh, God.
Do your worst, Daddy.
Oh, yeah, babe. Oh, thank heaven. I was so scared of trying to have to handle that delicately, but also kind of in a comedic way, so it would be a bit more lighthearted and not scar everyone for life. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm glad the characters in my cartoon are just watching porn.
Showing you my best film, and I'm telling you that it scored me a win over that bitch Tiffany Titfucker.
Oh, she sounds so mean. By the way, like, who's this, Tiffany woman? Could I maybe, I don't know, have a number? Like, you know, I'll help you take out the competition, Angel. Yeah, I'll definitely take her out. Minus, the gun. Maybe, you know... I need to drop this bit, okay? This is not... This is like... For all of you that are not getting the irony, I meant, like, take her... Irony, I meant, like, take her on a date rather than take her out, like, literally with a gun. Like, I don't know where I was going with that bit, honestly. This is getting out of hand, and we're not even at the essay part yet.
You really gonna sit there and act like these scripts ain't hot garbage?
Fuck you. This is classy art.
Wait, I'm confused. Like, I had to rewatch that bit. I was, like, so confused why Pentious, I think, yeah, the snake guy, Pentious was, like, concerned by the guy smacking Angel's knee, and then I realised, that wasn't Angel's knees. Also, Nifty, who the hell let the child watch this? I know she's, like, 1,000 years old, probably, but it feels wrong.
And Nifty? Yeah. You don't even want to know what her deal is.
I kind of do, though. Like, I want an episode just dedicated to Nifty and them telling us why she is considered, like, this worst character in the show, like, in terms of evilness. I love Nifty. Personally, I feel like she's, like, the child I was on the inside when I was, like, 5. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was one of those... kind of, my camera's gone a bit weird, sorry. I was one of those, like, kind of mentally unstable children in the sense that, like, I'd kind of, like, if some character was, like, caught by the like if some character was like caught by the villain, I'd feel like a sense of joy for it. Like I'd like root for the villains. I'd like be like, I don't know. I was one of those like very concerning children, especially since I once ended up, this is embarrassing to say, but I once ended up crying because my parents basically, I remember I used to get bullied because I would wear like too much pink in school, and I got upset with my parents because they kind of got me pink balloons for my birthday party, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, if my class comes, they need to be red and black, red and black, red and black. Yeah, again, like, my personality was a lot of times shaped by bullying. Why the hell? This is, why is it going to bullying and everything but assault? Like, I'm glad there's no assault yet, but it's like, okay. Why did I, like, growl like that? Ooh, ooh. I didn't know I could make that sound. Ooh, 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 ooh. I sound like a motorbike, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But, yeah.
Well, this phone call's going, well...
Could be so aggressively kind to Angel's boss that I convince him to let Angel spend more time in the hotel!
No. Charlie, no. I'll tell you exactly why that won't work. I've tried that before. On one of my best friend's mums. And he would barely let me talk to her. Mind you, I'm an introvert, so someone needs to really have made me angry for me to even look at them the wrong way. But yeah, he would like refuse to call her to ask for permission, so I'd like say, all right, then I'll call her, and he'd be like, no, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare. Like, it's one of those situations, it won't end well. Trust me. They'll somehow make you out to be the bad guy. It's happened before. Charlie, I'm so sorry, darling, but please don't do it.
Action!
Oh no! So many burglars and only one me.
Oh yes, like every homeowner's dream. Like so many burglars. You know, as a homeowner, you probably see that more as a nightmare. You want to like get anything solid and possibly made of glass, smash it, like maybe a light or something, smash it, and then you have like a very big sharp weapon. You want to aim at their eyes, and you want to like jab it. Or if they're male, you can just I can't believe I'm saying this, knee them where the sun don't shine. Yeah. Off at a tangent, but is it normal that, like, I'm an only child and a girl, so ever since I was little, like, my mum's been teaching me how to defend myself against grown men, like, how to knee someone in the balls correctly. It's embarrassing to say, but, like, I love my mum, and she's amazing. Oh, no, Charlie, this is like a terrible combination of extremely puppy love adorable and terribly stupid. Like, forget IRL, like, you'd think in real life you'd be kind of like, okay, maybe it's possible, but you're in hell. Angel's a porn star. Like, Charlie, think. I don't understand what's not getting through. Like, they make Charlie either, like, super, like, vaguely smart, and then they make her suddenly go stupid. I see where it's going. Oh, that brought back. I hated that. That warrants way more than a no thank you. Charlie, darling, you want to step away from that man immediately. I know who the predator is already. It's that guy. I know. Okay. The vibe. It's the vibe. Good girl, Charlie. You get that hustle. Like, why can't I speak? Why am I not? why can't I like form a sentence properly? Also, I love the fact that this like very big scary bull is like, don't you move, or I will hurt you, you little gay boy. he looks so harmless. I kind of feel bad for every one of these workers, whether they like want to work there or not, because like half of them don't seem as harmful as the people, you know, outside the building. Okay, but like that, Charlie, that hardly is your fault. Like, that's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. Like, if you leave wires exposed, like, that's a fire hazard. There's no way a whole building should catch fire from one person tripping over a wire, okay? Not to mention, who the hell leaves so many wires exposed? Says me with her 72 wires exposed at the moment. But you know what I mean.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea he was like a moth. Like, I feel like there need to be like more moth-style characters. Though, like, I know he's like based off a moth and isn't really a moth, but I kind of wish they'd kind of gone with a like moth to a flame type meaning, like where the moth is attracted to the flame rather than, or like, I don't know how to explain. Like, there were so many things, like possibilities there with the whole moth and fire thing. Like, play with fire, you get burnt. Moth attracted to a flame. Like, it's no, they could have used that, but in a way I feel like they did. Like, the fact that everyone was panicking, but the only one who was able to stop the fire was the moth, which kind of feels almost ironic. Like, the person who isn't afraid of the fire was the only one who was able to stop it. Like, because by the saying, like, the whole moth being attracted to a flame is kind of like, well, moths are stupid, they'll just go wherever there is light. But at the end of the day, this time it's kind of like a little twist on that saying, where like their lack of fear actually ended up being what saved them. I don't know, maybe reading too much into it, but I just find that little bit interesting.
Can I see you in your dressing room for a moment?
Val.
This is gonna be where it gets dark, isn't it? Okay. This is gonna be very bad.
Please, I'm sorry she...
You bring her here to protect you? To fuck with me?
Okay, the visuals, they're on point. Like, the fact that even though Angel is, like, willing, usually, to do this type of stuff, like, that whole, like, consent changes everything type of thing, like, if you give consent, you kind of see how openly flirty and kind of, like, forward Angel is when he feels kind of in control of the situation, like safe around the person he's flirting with, because like he knows he'll be able to kind of lead the conversation. But now that he knows that he's not the one in control, that he's kind of like backed into a corner, both figuratively and literally, you can see, like, first of all, that he's kind of not putting up that strong facade, and kind of playing into the hand of the Mothman, Val, I guess. Like, that reminds me of similar to what I did. Like, I had a plan to get out of it, but that included going along with basically everything the guy made me do, so that I'd stay on his good side and eventually he'd let me leave. That's basically the same situation. Also the fact that, like, the subtle, like, clothing pull, the subtle, like, defensive stance is on point.
You think she can get you out of work?
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. No!
I also like the fact that, like, I hate saying it, but, like, the fact that Val is kind of, like, it's never about the other person's body, it's always about that feeling of power you have over them, like, and he knows that touching Angel, like, because Angel's most prized possession, like, is himself, his body, because he knows that that's kind of like what people value him as. So kind of Val touching him is kind of like him saying, this is all you are to me, kind of like, this is what has power over other people, this is like the asset you use to have power over other people, yet I'm using it right now to have power over you. It's kind of like a subtle way of, in a way, imposing dominance, like in the wild, like a predator kind of hunting down their prey. Like, it's fitting, and I also like the fact that he's, like, enjoying his own violence, kind of like, that's, like, the way, like, you know that saying, it's not about the person you're with, it's about the way you feel around them, I guess, like, and he's kind of addicted to the way he feels when he's hurting Angel. That's what I get out of that. It's just, it's done so well, and the fact that, I don't know how to explain it, that you're kind of able to see almost a logic behind the Predator's, you know, ways, is even more creepy in a way, because you're like realizing slowly what goes through these people's heads, both inside and outside. And I just can't help but be reminded of that time I heard the guys that assaulted me saying, like, having their little group union while me and my two friends were kind of off to the side, kind of cornered, and they were just like, no, leave the boys, we'll take the girl. Like, there's just that sentence, no, we don't want them, just take the girl, we'll take the girl. Like, the amount of times they said, oh, do you want to ride home? Do you want me to help you? Why don't you give me your number? Like, those things, like, and then hearing them say, we'll take the girl. They were planning to kidnap me, but, like, the reason, like, they wanted me was because my friend basically said that, like, this was a lie, obviously, that I basically had, like, a boyfriend that was long distance, and he was, like, a big guy and very scary, and they shouldn't have messed with him. They shouldn't, like, mess with him. And they were basically saying, oh, don't worry about that guy, cheat on him anyway, like, he'll never know. Like, and it was just making me feel sick already. Like, even though I had no boyfriend, it was making me feel sick. Like, that's what they were doing. They wanted that power, whether it was over me or this, like, fake boyfriend I had. They wanted that feeling of, I'm better than you, I have more power than you, I control what's yours and I can take it away in an instant. It's always about gain for them. It's always about imposing themselves as something, like, powerful and kind of making the person feel trapped and unable to say no.
You know she can't do anything. I own you, or have you forgotten that?
I also love the fact that, like, there's the subtle things, like, for example, he signed with his real name. Like, not, like, it wasn't as angel dust. He kind of gave up his true self. Like, Anthony is, like, he basically said Anthony is dead now. He kind of said that basically that shell is all that remains of Angel. Like, Anthony is no longer in that body in a way. Like, it makes you feel like when you go through it, it's kind of hard to explain. It makes you feel like a part of you has died. Like, because a lot of times, at least with me, I wasn't unaware of what was going on. I knew what they were trying to do, and I also knew which ones were actually serious, which ones were just joking, and which ones were just there because they wanted to help out their friend cover up a possible crime. So, yeah, I like the fact that they kind of also don't have any music. They just kind of have the voice actors fumbling over each other, and, like, the heavy breathing, the, like, fear, the perfectly kind of, like, also the perfectly kind of displayed Angel's fear, not for himself but for Charlie. That's perfect, because that's also what I felt. The reason why I say that is because I could have got away. Like, I could have, between my three friends, even though they were both boys, I was more physically, and still am, more physically strong than both of them, since we were little, even though we're the same age. Like, I was always kind of able to, like, beat them when we would, like, play, fight, and things like that. So, like, I knew that in the group, I was the protector. I was the one that was kind of I wouldn't say, like, the leader of the pack, because it's kind of like, I don't want to make myself out to be this big shot, but I was the one they were dependent upon. Like, if our parents needed us, it was me. Who was the first person you turned to if there wasn't an adult nearby, it would be me. And with that child nearby, with no parents with him, I basically said, I could get away, but I know that they won't be able to. So, like, that feeling of, I have to put up with this for their sakes, that is also very, very true.
When I say come, you say...
Yes, Valentino.
When I say you are fucking 20 guys before lunch, you say...
Yeah, it's perfectly described. Also, the whole, the mirror scene. Like, it's like those little subtleties of, like, look at yourself, look at what position you're in, look who's the one at the end of the chain, look at, like, how much power I have over you, look how small you look now that I've got power over you. It's all about taking the power away from you, and that whole showing the contract, it wasn't just like to prove a point, it was to literally say, like, you're acting like Anthony again. You're acting like you have control over that part of you that I'm supposed to have control over. It's like Angel seemed to be like almost regaining his power, and Val was scared of it. Like, he was scared of Angel Dust's part that is Anthony coming back, like his soul. It's almost as if his soul and his body are different entities. Like, Angel Dust is a facade and Anthony is his true self. But since Val has control over his true self, and when he started to see like parts of Anthony organically be reborn into Angel Dust without Val having control of those extra new specks of Anthony, he was like, I need to eradicate it at the source, because by showing the contract, I'll remind Angel Dust that even if he wanted to have part of Anthony be reborn, he couldn't, even though Val knows that actually if Angel really wanted to, which he was doing because he was at the hotel, he was slowly being able to get control over what he wanted to be, what he wanted to do. So Anthony was slowly kind of rebuilding, and he was like growing over it. He could never go back to the person he was before, but in a way he didn't need to go back to being the person he was before, and Val is aware of that. Like, he knows that that Anthony that he took away is gone, is dead, but he knows that a new Anthony was slowly being built. So that whole power move over, also like saying Charlie, he was threatening Charlie because he was trying to put distance between Angel Dust's source of comfort and like part of the reason why Anthony was being rebuilt in the first place, and his like toy. He just sees Angel as this husk not containing anything inside it, like a shell of his former self. But now that a new unknown something is being reborn within that shell, he's like, he knows that he will no longer have control over it, and he's trying to stop it. I really find that whole interaction really psychologically enthralling, and it brings back bad memories, but it also makes me realize how pathetic the whole thing was. Like, it makes me feel like I have power again, knowing that I never kind of lost that power in the first place, in a way. Like, knowing that I overcame it without descending into the pit Angel has fallen into. It makes me feel stronger, and obviously knowing that people got more than just assaulted, they got full on raped and ended up through this, them seeing this piece of media and being able from their past experiences to kind of see that's almost exactly what happened to me. Whoa, that's crazy. Like, to be able to see how pathetic Val's whole ideology is kind of will make people like myself kind of have a feeling of achievement over overcoming our assailant. Like, it feels like I've regained power. It's all about taking back your power. They don't own you. Okay? You've got this. You've got this. And no matter what they did to you, no matter what they said, you are beautiful. You are not tainted. You are not less pure. The only impure thing is them, okay? just remember my saying, no matter how many thorns a rose has, you are that rose. You are beautiful. The saying goes, no matter how many thorns a rose may have, it is still considered beautiful. You are the rose, and no matter how many thorns or petals someone picks from you, you are still at your core a rose, and you can regrow those petals, you can find your spring, you can be this beautiful flower, and if those thorns are there to protect yourself, don't ever apologize for pricking someone, because the person who got pricked obviously had a reason to be, because they were stepping onto your thorns. So never ever apologize for having those thorns. Okay? Okay.
Your ass is back on set, and we are taking this from the top!
What makes you think you can treat him like that?
Charlie! Just stop!
Angel!
That was so great. I also like that, because while I didn't have someone do that for me, knowing that there is someone that would, for example, my dad, he said he was an hour away at the time, because I'd gone with my mum, I'd gone to see my friends in another town. So basically he was so far away with both my pets, my cat and my dog, and he still said I'll drive all the way there, I'll hunt them down, I'll go and beat them up myself. He was willing to go that far, and I was the one who basically said, no, please don't. I just need you right now to stop. I can't deal with this right now. That sense of if I don't protect my abuser, it will continue to haunt me. I just needed to let it go. That sense of not only Angel wanting to protect Charlie, but also kind of being if you do that, I know things will get worse type of feeling. I know exactly what that means, and well, you're always going to be grateful to have someone there for you like that. It also can be a compromising feeling sometimes. Eventually I realised that probably it would have been a better idea, but considering I didn't even, with how messed up I was in the head after that, I could barely even remember what one of them looked like. I could feel them on my skin. I could hear, their voices, that I no longer hear, but I still feel them sometimes. And, no matter what, I feel them, but I can't remember their faces or their names. So it's not like we could have, brought it up to the police or anything like that. And something that really annoyed me, that I just want to get off my chest, was when my so-called friend got mad at me when they asked me basically where a place to buy fags was, and I basically pointed them in the first one I could think of, which was near my old house. But I'm sorry, where did you expect me to do? If I'd sent them to a wrong destination, they could have come back and said, hey, you sent me the wrong way, are you trying to get rid of us? So the fact that he said, oh great, now you sent them near where we need to go, good job, after I came up with a plan and kept them all safe. When I finally got rid of that toxic friend, I truly realised how badly, victim blaming, that was complete victim blaming. And when I basically said later on, months later, hey, you haven't been in touch, and I've been worried about you, I've been worrying about you day in and day out, and then saying, I saved you from that situation, I got you out of that, and I'm not expecting any massive gratitude, but I thought this would bring us closer together. And then for him to say, you manipulative bitch, that's not what happened and you know it, how dare you say that, it's not thanks to you that we got out of that situation, or something like that. He basically said that it was my fault, that that he'd lost friends. Like, he was bringing up the most random things. And then he said, oh, you always blame your behaviour on your medication. Yet the moment I said, I was worried about you because you've told me multiple times you were suicidal, he'd say, oh, how dare you say I'm suicidal. And then he'd bring my meds into it. Like, you'd see, when you're finally out of a bad situation, you start to see how bad it truly was. And it's kind of like, you want to go back in time and fix that, but in a way you're scared to. I don't know how it got to my old friend, but I guess it's one of those dependent situations of dependence. I was dependent on the guy because I'd been in love with him. And I thought, everyone around me was like, even our other best friend was like, oh, he'll get it eventually, he'll get the hint eventually. Like, you're meant for each other, basically. And he just basically hits me, like, I just say, oh, I'll just give up and just say, right, I've liked you for 10 years, okay? Just even if you don't like me back, just forget this ever happened. And he hits me with a, I've known, but I didn't want to ruin our friendship. Like, if you knew, like, I could understand if you were the one with the feelings, but if you knew, why didn't you? Like, the amount of sleepless nights, it was like this selfish behaviour over and over. It was always, he wants. It was never about what I needed. It was always about what he wanted. And I never truly realised how used I was until I finally got out of it. And I can just, like, imagine Angel's situation and compare it, because while it's, like, different in terms of, like, it comes from people you trust. Like, obviously, to have been able to sell his soul, he must have at one point at least trusted Val enough to give it to him. So it's the people you expect less that hurt the most. I went off at a tangent there. Sorry.
Action.
I'm not a bubble of the cash in.
Is this, like, the really the best place to put a song? Well, I guess they kind of do need to kind of, move past that the best way they can. But it kind of, like, reminds me a bit of, I don't know how to explain it, like, Kesha's old music. Like, and I don't know if it's, like, on purpose, but I remember, like, reading about her also being stuck in, like, an abusive situation with, I think it was her manager. I'm not sure about any of this information, but, like, if that was the case and it was intentional, I think that's a great detail.
So far beyond if they're called to resist another gulp.
That was amazing. I also love the fact that it was kind of like aggressive bondage gear, like kind of like, hey, this thing that normally requires trust, this thing that you would normally do if you felt comfortable with doing it, these handcuffs that usually are kind of like showing your connection with someone, your willing connection with someone, are actually almost like shackles that bind you, that imprison you. I think those, like, small little details, like, obviously I can't show it and do a full analysis of it, but I also think it's my favourite song yet. 1,000 million times out of 10. Like, I also like the fact that it almost feels like all the way through it, Angel is, like, still trying to vaguely hold up the facade that he's proud of it, while slowly seeming to, like, crack. Like, the comparison of, like, the almost happy sounding vocals with the lyrics, kind of like his inner voice it's like his inner voice writing the lyrics and his angel dust facade singing it. see, that's Anthony slipping through. That whole, like, the voice crack, that whole feeling of he doesn't realise that he's kind of regained a bit of power because he's being able to feel those emotions. Like, for example, when I was running on the adrenaline, I couldn't feel the emotions of, like, not wanting to be there. In a way, it was just kind of get through it, survive. I was in survival mode. And he doesn't realise at the moment that he's finally able to feel those emotions and kind of try and get it out instead of just coping through his facade. And I find it really interesting. Kind of like, you see Anthony slipping through, but he doesn't know it's Anthony. Like, it feels like he still thinks that's part of his angel dust persona rather than, like, it's so interesting the way they've made Val notice that he's slowly rebuilding himself because he has a proper support system, but Angel doesn't realize that he's slowly taking back power. And I feel like that whole display with the Poison song too is proof that Angel's, like, outer facade is starting to contrast with his inner voice. His inner voice is no longer survive and get through. It's escape, and like, he's in fight or flight mode, and he'd always been in the just kind of neither. He'd just be dealing with it. And now that he's in fight or flight, he's going through the emotions of fight but the instincts of flight. And it's kind of I guess it's also reminiscent to him, probably, like, reminiscent of his Anthony self, but that Anthony, he knows that Anthony isn't there, so he's confused by what these, almost like not knowing what those emotions are. That's what it feels like. Like, he's not aware that he's feeling sad, like, in a way, that he thinks that now that his innocent self isn't there, that he no longer is able to get past angel dust. So Anthony is regaining power even through that moment of cracking there. That's still him regaining power. So in a way, like, Val putting him down and piecing him back together still didn't erase the work that the hotel had done, especially with him protecting Charlie. Val saw it as a win with him, like, saying, Charlie, just leave, because he thought finally he's got rid of his support system. But actually, that was Val indirectly almost saved Angel Dust, because if Val hadn't said, you get rid of Charlie, then he would have gone back to being Angel Dust. But because Anthony was still there, Anthony saved Charlie. He wasn't Angel Dust in that moment, he was Anthony. And Val didn't realize it because he was following his orders. So it's like, he did what I told him to, so I still have that power over him. But Anthony is actually still there. Like, he didn't properly eradicate Anthony. And he is slowly but surely going to get on a journey of redemption. And I think it will be, like, beautiful. Like, comparing it to his pilot self, there is definitely a change, especially in his facade starting to kind of crack, even without the whole Anthony thing. Like, even just his facade cracking is really, it's just amazing. I have no more words for it, really.
Get the fuck over yourself and pour me a real drink.
Look, if you got a problem, you're not gonna find the solution at the bottom of a bottle. I should know. I've been looking there a long time.
You know, I actually like the little detail of like the bartender being the one to try and convince his customer not sorry, my voice went. Like the detail of the bartender being the one to kind of convince his customer not to be an alcoholic. Like that also kind of shows that Husk is redeemable, because while like he didn't need to do that for himself, if he really wanted more for himself than for Anthony. I'm saying Anthony because the facade, that's not really him. That's Angel Dust is... Sure, I love Angel Dust, but Anthony trumps Angel Dust any day. I'm just saying that, like, he didn't need to say that to help Angel. But he did it anyways. Like, I feel like that's a detail to make Husk seem more humane, where, well, he would normally, if he was like anyone else in hell, he'd want, like, Angel to, you know, self-destruct and kind of continue drinking, and so he could gain profit from it. But he still chose to give Angel a piece of advice, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. And that just really shows a whole new side to Husk, which I hope like they'll show more of.
Cut the act already. It's never gonna work on me, so all you're doing is making an ass out of yourself with this fake bullshit.
Keith David was definitely the best choice, but also I think, you know, people might have said that was harsh, but Angel needed to hear that. Why? Because this personality getting angry right now, it's not Anthony. You could see the shock. That was Anthony pushing through, thinking, oh no, someone is seeing through my facade, and then Angel Dust clicked into fight or flight. It's interesting to see like how the facade is reflecting his inner turmoil now. It's not just go with it. It's not like he's unfazed anymore. So he used to be kind of like, in a way, almost depressed. Well, he is probably, but like just going with it, following the flow, and then his inner self was like fight or flight, fight or flight. Now that his inner self has finally broken a piece of the facade off, the facade is also in fight or flight, except that it's kind of, it's doing it in an Angel Dust way, which is something I really like. This is perfect. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just perfect.
You done?
You know what? You would be fucking lucky to get a chance to fuck me. You know how much I'm worth?
Also, the fact that a character with no self-worth is saying, do you know how much I'm worth? It's kind of almost like Angel Dust is trying to convince Anthony that he's worth more than Anthony feels he is. So it's kind of like almost two people sharing a body. This is really, really cool, these details.
Sounds like someone should go after him. Someone named Husk.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Look, Vaggie, I know that it looked like Husk was... You know, it's not Husk's fault, but I think it needed to happen. Like, I think Vaggie wasn't just saying, oh, it's your fault, Husk, you need to make it right. I think it was kind of like... probably Charlie already talked to her, but if I was there, I think she was trying to kind of say, Husk, you're the only one who's kind of got under his skin and knows what's going on in detail. because probably he's like said it when he was drunk, but like I think it was kind of her way of saying, you're the one he needs right now, you're the one who can kind of help him right now, without putting pressure on Husk to be his support system. I may be reading too much into it, but I think that was Vaggy's way of saying kind of like, I can't do it, Charlie has tried to do it, you're the only one who's kind of seemed to get through to him enough for his conscience to go completely flight. Like, because when Charlie was doing it, in his fight or flight mode, he regressed back to his just go with it. But when Husk tried, because he didn't have Val constantly behind him, he kind of felt like he could do that flight. He could fight and then flight, which he did. But now that fight is going on with himself. So in a way, it's kind of like Vaggy not trying to make him become Angel's punching bag, but also trying to kind of get him to break more of that angel dust mask to let Anthony slip through. That's like the least discreet love potion, drug, whatever you want to call it. It also looked slightly like those particles Val was giving off in the studio. Like, I don't know if that's just like the show's way of saying that's the substance that's typically used to drug someone in hell, or if it's kind of like the show's way of saying, oh, this is how we're going to depict like the way what people are putting in, like almost as if showing the poison as kind of, instead of it just being like a vial with something just liquid in it, to show it as something more big and grand and showing like the effect it could have. I don't know if it's just symbolism or if it's actually kind of connected to Val literally, but I find that detail really cool either way.
Here you go, darling. Just for you.
It's literally the wrong colour. It's literally the wrong colour, okay, dude? Like, you want to be discreet, but, unless you tell Angel that you ordered him a pink drink, that's not gonna work.
That fucker put something in your drink.
You don't think I can tell if someone spikes my drink? I do this all the fucking time.
Thank you, Angel. Like, anyone with eyes could tell that someone spiked that thing. Like, I do appreciate Husk protecting Angel. It's really, I think, like, do people ship them? Because I think I may be starting to. They just, I don't know, they don't have like this overly lovey-dovey type bond. Like, I love those kind of relationships that start kind of like rivalries more than anything. Like, kind of like not starting off as friends, but also not hating each other. Like, not openly showing affection, but knowing you don't actually hate the person. Those are like the types of character dynamics I love the most. It kind of reminds me a bit of like the dynamic between Alistair and Charlie in like the pilot, where basically like Alistair knew that Charlie knew that he was a danger, yet they kind of had this silent agreement of, you know, cooperation even before they like struck the quote-unquote deal of Alistair helping with the hotel. Like, it just felt like they kind of had this mutual understanding of, you don't hurt me, I don't hurt you, but they kind of eased into like almost a mutual like protection pact in a way. Like, it just feels, I love those character dynamics of like silent agreement and care.
I just saw someone self-destructing. It seems like, I don't know, you might need a bartender to talk to.
I understand Angel laughing because that bit there where he was like, you might need a bartender to talk to, like when he turned around, he looked just like someone in a fursuit. Like, it looked goofy and funny. It looked like a big teddy bear. I'm sorry.
Nice to have that power. But when you're dealing in souls, while also being a gambler, the stakes are pretty high.
I know people are gonna say like, oh, you're just taking the chance to invent yourself, but I feel like sometimes there's a difference between sharing your trauma and being like, oh, anyways, it's completely different, but I'm gonna tell you exactly my trauma so it overshadows yours, because I've had that friend I was telling you about do it to me in the past, where I'd tell him something and he'd have to make it like a competition. Like, for example, like, here's a tiny thing. Like, I have slightly heterochromatic eyes. That means they're like different colors. But it's like central heterochromia, so only in the middle are they different. And like, when we would talk about our physical features, whenever like my eyes would come up, he'd always have to like be like, oh yeah, mine do that too. Or like when I'm like a dark blonde, he'd be like, are you sure you're not a brunette? Because my hair's a similar colour, even though he had brown hair, clearly. Like, he'd just have to kind of be like, if you're blonde, I am. If you do this, I am. And then he's the one who would accuse me of copying him all the time. I know it's like something silly, but it kind of feels like there's a difference between that and like him saying something about his trauma and me being like, yeah, me too, I feel exactly the same way because something like that happened to me. Like, just that you see the difference of like, oh, but me too, but I'm more important. And then there's the whole like, I feel you, I want to be with you. And I feel like while people may think, oh, this is just the way the show's gonna enter Husk's trauma through Angel and kind of undermine Angel, I feel like it's more of a Husk being like, I know how it feels, even though it wasn't exactly the same situation. I'm gonna try and empathize. I'm not speaking correctly. I'm gonna try and empathize with you, because even if it's not exactly the same, it's similar, and even if it wasn't similar, I'd still want to help you cope and take some of that pain away. That's what it feels like to me.
So I know what it's like to regret the choices made, and knowing you can't take it back.
Again, like, it reminds me of Angel's facade, like Husk's, but it's kind of backwards, because Angel let his innocent self go to make the contract, and kind of Husk left behind his more like powerful side and weakened himself. Like, they're like polar opposites, because when Husk became like subservient, the difference was that he basically had power in the beginning and lost it. Angel didn't really have power in like the literal sense and ended up gaining it. So the difference is that Husk seems to have more of a foundation to build on, because along with his power, so left like most of his gambling tendencies. Like, obviously he's still going to retain some, like being a bartender, but he's already got the foundation to rebuild himself, and he let go that facade ages ago, while Angel, on the other hand, still needs to remove that facade, because he's kind of almost addicted to the power it gives him. So that's a really interesting take. I know people might not agree with that, but I just feel like, I'm not trying to say like the sinners are good people, by the way. I'm not trying to say like Husk previously owning souls is just made up for, or that now he's like a saint, because I know they're not, but like that's what the hotel is about, redemption. So I don't know, that's what I feel like. And I'm so glad we're over like the assault bit, because it's starting to hit a bit heavy now.
So things look bad and your back's against the wall.
Ooh, bold of them to put like a song in now. Like nothing at the moment seems to me like it can trump Poison. It's just too good.
You're a loser, baby, a loser, goddamn baby, you're a fucked up little whiny bitch.
I take back what I said. I love this song. I mean, I still kind of prefer Poison, but it's kind of like, you know, it's one of those feel-good songs that doesn't necessarily need to be better for it to be better in a way. Like, it's a different type. Like, it's more in the niche of, like, Happy Day in Hell, where it's kind of more of a feel-good. And I feel like this is my favourite feel-good one up until now.
We're both losers, baby, we're losers. It's okay to be.
Oh, yep. Okay, I'm starting to like seriously ship them now. Like, it's so cute. I can't believe. I didn't think I'd be shipping like Angel's like a spider, right? Like a spider with a cat. Is Husk a cat? Oh, sorry, my alarm. That was a bit anticlimactic. Okay. I guess now Husk really is proving why he used to be an overlord.
Thanks for caring about me.
So this is like, what, the best episode? Like that full circle moment of like him returning to the place he first left. He left the place like fearful, and now he's back and feels at home. Like he knows where he belongs now, and Anthony is there. Like it's Anthony, it's not Angel. It's beautiful, okay? I love it. It's just, this episode was just, this is like the episode you can never recover from. I mean, I already did like all my talking during the episode, so I don't really have anything to say except I hope you enjoyed. This is probably going to be very long considering all the discussion I've put into it. But, yeah, if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, the usual YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you, my sweet berries. Stay safe. Goodbye.